Greetings, AP Psych students. This is Mr. DeLeon, your friendly neighborhood AP Psych teacher. I want to welcome you to today's video lecture on anxiety disorders. I just wanted to let you know also that this material that we are covering you will find in Module 66 in your book. Sorry that you're not able to see my smiling face here in this video. I wasn't able to figure out how to do that again. So we're just going to go with this for today and get right to it. Let's start with anxiety. It is completely natural, of course, for us to experience some degree of anxiety. If you think about it, if you've ever had to give a presentation in front of class before, maybe for a job interview, maybe for a first date, some degree of anxiety is completely normal. What we are referring to here, however, is when that anxiety becomes debilitating, when it's persistent, and when one engages in those maladaptive behaviors. These are behaviors that are not healthy in order to try to reduce anxiety. So let's begin to take a look at several of these. We are going to start first with the idea of a phobia, in particular a specific phobia. A phobia is an intense, irrational fear that can focus on a variety of situations, things like our natural environment, which can include water, heights, things of that nature. Situations that could include things like claustrophobia, where someone may be afraid of tight enclosed spaces, injury, and of course our common animals or insects. This only scratches the surface. Here are some other fun phobias, I guess. Here we could have allurophobia, which is a fear of cats, algobophobia, which is a fear of pain, anthropophobia, a fear of men, monophobia, a fear of being alone, and pyrophobia, a fear of fire. For a complete list of all the phobias, go to phobiaguide.com. One of the things I want to point out about a phobia is that we do know the specific situation or specific cause of this fear. Now, the fear may not be rational, but we do know the specific cause. Another type of phobia here we're going to look at are some social phobias. Social anxiety disorder, to be exact, is a specific type of phobia that involves a fear of failing or being embarrassed or ridiculed in public. Social anxiety disorder sufferers may find themselves reclusive. They may find themselves less likely to get involved in social situations because of this fear. Along with that is the idea of what we call agoraphobia. This is a fear of public places. People with agoraphobia oftentimes may not leave their homes because they are afraid of what can happen when they go out in public. They're afraid of situations where they may not be able to get help when a panic strikes, or there may be no escape. So people with agoraphobia tend to avoid crowded places, subway tunnels, things of that nature, elevators, and oftentimes may end up never leaving their home. Like I said, some degree of anxiety is completely normal. Just because someone experiences anxiety does not mean they have a phobia. Remember our definition of disorders. Phobias in particular are debilitating, they're unjustifiable, they are disruptive to one's life. You can see here some common situations that could cause varying degrees of anxiety. Again, just because someone experiences some fear or anxiety does not necessarily mean they have a phobia. Another disorder I'd like to clarify here now is the panic disorder. The main symptom of panic disorder are the panic attacks. Panic attacks are sudden episodes of helpless terror. Basically, think of it this way: your sympathetic nervous system kicks into overdrive. Your book describes it as a tornado of panic. These attacks may last minutes and leave the sufferer draining. One of the main things these sufferers live in fear of is not knowing when these attacks will strike. Now, the difference here between panic attacks and a phobia. If I have a phobia, let's say, of spiders, I can have a panic attack, but I know it's a result of seeing a spider. In panic disorder, there is no specific cause or reason. They're more or less kind of random and can strike at really any time. So please keep that straight when it comes to panic disorder. Another disorder we'd like to look at here is general anxiety disorder, or GAD. This is when an individual has constant worry about many issues. We used to refer to them perhaps as worry warts. But again, here we have a situation where people cannot function because they are constantly feeling anxiety over everyday type of life activities. Symptoms can include headaches, stomach aches, muscle tension, tension headaches in particular, and irritability. So think of it this way: it may not be a full-fledged panic attack, but it's a constant anxiety over a variety of life issues. Next, we want to look at post-traumatic stress disorder. Even though the new version of the DSM does categorize this disorder separately, it's most commonly thought of as an anxiety disorder. It is, again, brought about here by traumatic episodes in one life. Probably the most common example are the battle fatigue. We used to call this shell shock. But now we have this name. This, again, disorder is characterized by flashbacks, frequent recollection of the event, avoidance of situations that might trigger recall of the event. Usually results also in insomnia. It can also affect eating habits and may also accompany depression. So post-traumatic stress disorder, again, not just related to battle and war fatigue, any sort of trauma that can occur in one's life. Surviving a natural disaster, some sort of abuse can also trigger PTSD. Last one we'd like to look at, probably the one that you're most familiar with, seems to get the most attention from our media, is obsessive compulsive disorder. We want to break it down by differentiating between an obsession and a compulsion. An obsession is the thought. It's irrational, it's disturbing, it's that thought that one cannot get out of their head. Common obsessions include things about obsessing over being clean, neat, and orderly. Obsessions about safety and safety concerns. The compulsion then is the action, the repetitive action that's performed to try to alleviate the obsession, to get the thought out of one's head. Common compulsions include checking and washing. So the cycle would work something like this. If I'm obsessed with being clean, I may be compulsed to wash my hands hundreds of times a day to the point, again, to where they are dried, cracked, and bleeding. So it's this cycle. The compulsive activity may help me reduce the obsession for a time being, but shortly the obsession is likely to return. All right, this concludes our overview of anxiety disorders. Please come to class tomorrow with any questions that you may have. We are also going to be working on some case studies trying to identify and diagnose possible cases of these disorders. Thank you.